خل الدمع والتنهيدا إن ابنك المقبور مات شهيدا أماه كلا لا تقولي قد مضى ولدي على درب الأسى مفقودا أماه خل الدمع والتنهيدا
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And thank you for joining us on ITV with myself, Khalid Al-Jalilati. Today we're very blessed and honored to have in studio with us guests from Islamic Relief. With everything that's happening in the world, within Islamic communities and communities as a whole, the struggles that we face, the tsunamis, the floods, the droughts, the famine, we are very thankful that there is a group such as Islamic Relief out there contributing to the well-being of humankind. In studio today we have Muhammad, brother Ismat Muhammad and Sharifa Mia. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How's everything going? Everything alright?
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Doing research on Islamic Relief, I knew about the company, and the company is a great company which I've actually heard quite a bit about. I just did not know about the extent of the magnitude of your company. You guys started in the UK, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, in 1984, a group of concerned, mainly students, led by Dr. Hani Al-Banna,
Yes.
came together and decided that they need to do something about Sudan, because at that time Sudan was facing a major famine. And they decided to raise money and help the people of Sudan. And the amazing part of that story was when Dr. Hani first started raising money and standing at a hall to collect money, there was a young girl that inspired him and inspired us up till today. She was 9 years old, and she came to Dr. Hani and she says, I have 20 pence from my own money that I want to contribute, and please help all the orphans of the world. Subhanallah. And that was a humble beginning of Islamic Relief internationally. Subhanallah. It was a very, very humble, it was a very, very inspirational experience. Subhanallah.
Alhamdulillah.
From that time to now, that's 28 years. Subhanallah. In 2 years' time, we'll be celebrating 30 years of existence. Islamic Relief has grown from one country to now to over 50 countries.
MashaAllah.
At that stage, from 20 pence to Alhamdulillah, last year we raised £100 million. Subhanallah.
MashaAllah.
Especially, first and foremost, we must thank Allah Subhanahu wa Taala for His infinite mercy and bounty. We must thank the communities, the donors who have supported us, the people who have made dua for us to grow in. Alhamdulillah, Islamic Relief has grown from strength to strength.
Alhamdulillah. Now we spoke about the UK, and it started altogether. Islamic Relief has started 30 years ago. In South Africa, however, you guys I know are turning 10 years old next year, inshallah. Is that correct? How has it been in South Africa, and how did it initiate in South Africa?
In 2003,
Yes.
And before that as well, Dr. Hani Al-Banna visited South Africa, and he saw the great potential. I think the problem we have with South Africa is everybody thinks we got a lot of money. So at that stage, they thought that, what we do is set up a fundraising office.
Okay.
To raise money. And with everybody raising money, they think South Africa is very rich.
Yes.
So we decided to raise money from South Africa for various projects throughout the world. So in 2003, Islamic Relief was established in South Africa. But then we faced the challenge of HIV and AIDS pandemic. I mean, the number of orphans at that stage was something like 1.2 million orphans. It's now something going to about 3 million to 5 million orphan and single parent families that are in existence in South Africa. And the situation is even getting worse. I mean, there are figures like 1,200 people dying every day. So looking into that, decided to tackle the issue of HIV/AIDS pandemic, and in trying to tackle the issue and educate people on it, we found that many orphans and vulnerable children were affected by this pandemic. They were either infected or affected. So this became a great concern for Islamic Relief South Africa. We cannot only take money from South Africa for other projects, but we need to help our own country, because poverty is still high, crime is still high, even though we are in a democracy. And that is when Islamic Relief was established in South Africa in 2003. Alhamdulillah, first in Johannesburg, and then 2 years later in Durban and Cape Town.
So at the moment you're all over the country, national.
We
So
all
you're going through Joburg, Cape Town and Durban.
Yes, Alhamdulillah, and Pietermaritzburg
And
as well.
Pietermaritzburg as well. And you have crews and teams and officers in every location.
In every location we do, the 3 regional offices is Durban,
Yes.
Johannesburg and Cape Town.
Mm-hmm.
And at these offices we both do fundraising and we implement programs.
Okay.
The Pietermaritzburg office is a more programs related office.
Alright, alright. See, most relief companies, I would say Islamic relief, excuse the pun, but they help get people out of ruts that they're in. Islamic relief is different in the fact that it helps them develop their lifestyle as well. What does separate Islamic relief from every other relief company?
I wouldn't say to every other,
Yes.
I would say to some.
Okay.
You see, we both
Okay.
relief and development.
Mm-hmm.
So if I take for example Bosnia,
Yes.
Islamic relief at the time of the war intervened in Bosnia, established refugee camps,
Mm.
started assisting the people with emergency relief. Okay, so at that stage that's what the people's needs were.
Okay.
And to provide a safe environment for them at the refugee camps. Right. The other thing that Islamic relief does with refugee camps is separates the men and the women and the children with the women, because it's at the refugee camps that sometimes you get abuse.
Okay.
And obviously, as you've seen in Somalia, when you ran the refugee camp now, we made sure there was, at the time of Somalia last year, the famine and the disaster, we found that there was a need for iftar, so we set up the iftar program and whatever other needs the people needed at that point in time. Now, the important issue is that Islamic relief has remained in Bosnia. So from emergency relief, we went and we then established the health institutions, like the hospitals, like the clinics,
Okay.
the water and sanitation. Okay, so we concentrated on the infrastructure, skills training centers that can help the people empower themselves. And then we moved to the third phase, where we made the people self-sufficient. We provided them with the interest-free loan, where they would be able to establish a business and earn an honest living. Because in the case of Bosnia, the people had a sustainable livelihood, but they lost everything due to the war.
Okay.
Now you need to refocus, redevelop and rehabilitate the people. And that's exactly what Islamic relief has done. And then we also note that because of the war, a lot of children have become orphaned.
Okay.
So one of our primary focus is on orphans like in Bosnia, that we continue to support.
Thank you for joining us, and please do continue to join us after the break.
لا تقولي قد مضى ولدي على درب الأسى مفقودا